Alright, Jordan Fringe has gotta do what a Jordan Fringe has gotta do. And that specifically is to talk more about the Rugrats. No stranger here on the channel is. Why am I talking like Yoda? Back in May of this year, the world was reintroduced to the Rugrats in a new dimension, the third dimension. With a reboot of the series updated for modern times and a few changes to some characters like Betty, Grandpa Lou, and most notably Susie, who is now a bit younger to be closer to the baby's ages rather than Angelica's. A lot of those changes had people feeling some type of way, especially when it's something from your childhood not being the same exact thing from your childhood. And now, roughly 4.5 months after the first few episodes released, we are finally getting another batch. And since my opinions on the first batch of episodes are out there, in this video, I wanted to see what these new episodes would offer. And if you saw the thumbnail, a certain character is set to return. But how weird is the timeline now going to be since the reboot doesn't even have Dill yet? So bringing Kimmy in sure will be interesting to say the least. So today, we are going to dive into these new episodes, see what's going on, and discuss my thoughts on the series thus far. I didn't outright dislike the reboot overall with the few episodes I have seen when they released. I didn't even mind how some of the characters transitioned from 2D to 3D. So time to see how these hold up as well. In this go-round, instead of 5 episodes, we are given 8 more for a total of 13 so far in the first season. So let's quickly look into what each episode is about and jump into what I think. Starting with the first half of episode 6, No License to Drive, wherein which Angelica is given her Cynthia electronic toy car and causes chaos within the Pickles household, and gets into trouble with Stu and Dee Dee, resulting in her car being taken away. Dee Dee also starts her first episode of Dee Dee Does It for her live streams, you know, because it's 2021, and the Reptar wagon is back for a brief moment. But of course, Angelica steals her car back, which causes more issues with the parents as Angelica interrupts the end of Dee Dee's live stream. Whatever will she do? Showcasing the good old manipulation Angelica is known for, basically having Susie manipulated into being an accomplice, but even when tasked with finally learning her lesson, in Angelica fashion, learns nothing. The second part of the episode, I Dream of Duffy, which Duffy is basically an Alexa, which Angelica witnesses how it works thanks to Stu's man-child spending habits, including a fun take on instant deliveries and megacorp working conditions. Timely. Angelica quickly abuses the concept of instant ordering as if it were a genie granting material wishes, starting with a few Cynthia toy sets turning into more and more toys to even the delivery person then having a concern that something's afoot. Yeah, as if specific companies say, I don't know, possibly named after a rainforest would care. They just want the money. We get to see some more bits of fantastical adventures with the babies, which is cool. It brings me back to fond memories of the original show and the adventurous places they would be teleported to. But they want a piece of the power that Duffy holds, but Angelica is hogging it all for herself. So when the adults get home to see what had happened, and then Duffy snitches with voice recording receipts of Angelica proving that she's behind it, things don't turn out so well for her. Kind of. Truly an Angelica-themed episode for both parts? Is she the main character now? Anyway, episode 7's first part, The Fish Stick, starts off with one of those nursery rhyme type YouTube videos that controls babies' minds. Something like a baby shark, literally. Look, they're hooked on this like I am to buying Pokemon cards. What? It's not a problem. You're the problem. Cause you haven't hit like on this video yet, please do it. When tablet time is over, they all think since Chucky's dad knows the song that they can extract it from his brain like a reverse inception, you know, rather than implanting an idea. Imagining traveling through his ear while just driving around in the Reptar wagon once again. Visually, a more impressive episode playing with an interesting setting and some great looking texture work. So weird to see a story based around a mindless nursery rhyme video though. The second part of the episode, The Pickle Barrel, has Betty's coffee shop hosting a cat adoption event with a special musical guest who was once friends with Grandpa Lou, but had had a falling out. Another music thematic episode segment. They really are lumping these segments well so far when it comes to some level of similarity. The fighting between the elders scares the babies a bit of having their own falling out over playing music. Also, Duffy makes a triumphant return, good for him. But in the end, the thing that saves both Tommy and Chucky's friendship and Lou and Bob's friendship is music. It's short, sweet, and overall charming for what it was. Episode 8 8's first part, The Future Maker, gives us that superhero teaser we saw a long time ago before the show premiered back in May, where the babies face off with a Reptar-esque version of Spike. But that's not important now. What is that Angelica uses the social media face filters that we all use nowadays to an exhausting degree to trick the babies into thinking what their future would be like, explaining why Susie becomes a taco when she's back to being a superhero. And this really affects Susie, as she believes that this is all life will amount to for her when she grows up. However, though, she does learn to embrace who she is and can be whoever or whatever when she grows up. There's also a great quick cutaway about where did some chips go. The second half of the episode, Goodbye Reptar, has everyone over at Tommy's for a sleepover, and when Angelica won't let the babies watch Reptar on TV, they must find other means of entertainment for the night. And Duffy's back, really a breakout role for this character. When Chucky's toy Reptar looks as if it gets lost and heads out to space, it's really just near the street and Grandpa's lady friend finds it while on her way to visit Lou. But the babies don't know that. The lady coming over quickly bonds with Angelica over the knowledge of Cynthia, and actually convinces Angelica to do a good deed and return Reptar to Chucky. In a way, she does, but the real good deed here is that Grandpa Lou still knows how to impress a lady. Episode 9's first segment, The Bubby and Zadie Show, gives us a look at Dee Dee's parents, who are definitely not the same parents. Who are you people? Oh my god, look at that carpet texture. Sorry, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, well, they still are Jewish, mentioning an early Hanukkah gift given to Tommy, which, with how influential and ahead of its time the original show was in showcasing other holidays than just Christmas, it's nice to see that this element, even only if mentioned in passing, is still a point that they made. Here we see Tommy meeting his mother's side grandparents and them not being the same fun entertainment they were every day on a call, confusing him as to who these people really are. Not a whole lot goes on here other than that, really. The second segment, The Perfect Myth, has all the male adults minus Drew and Lou, but instead has Charlotte competing in a fitness challenge. All the while the babies play into a Greek mythology inspired fantasy. We do see how Stu is supportive of Angelica's art, as he is the creative type, while Charlotte goes into it not being perfect, unbeknownst to her that Angelica's the one who actually made it, but thinking that Stu did, and then explaining to Angelica that if you're not going to do something perfect, don't do it at all, and that she's raising her to be the quote-unquote perfect girl boss like herself. A lot of pressure to put on Angelica, and we do get to see how this affects her. And Charlotte contradicting herself, definitely for the better, when losing a push-up contest to Chaz. Episode 10's first segment, The Big Diff, starts off with, oh, look, the snail from the Rugrats in Paris. Yes, I know it's Reptar's arch nemesis, but that's Robo Snail, and that's cool to see. Maybe it's a sign of things to come. That's what we in the biz like to call foreshadowing. Anyway, Stu finds a gray hair at 33, which freaks him out a bit, and that's what he deals with for the whole episode. While Tommy and Chucky start learning that they are very different in their favorite things, like animals and foods, seeming to one another that they truly may not know all that much about their best friend. So Tommy wants to be more like Chucky and starts dressing like him, acting like him, etc. And Chucky does the same, but towards being like Tommy, but things aren't working out too well, and Angelica starts putting a divide between them, even being friends since they aren't alike at all. But later on, they do realize that they still do have things in common, but regardless don't need reasons to be best friends other than enjoying one another's company. The following segment, Final Eclipse, has the babies being taken to a sci-fi convention based off their parents and Susie's favorite sci-fi film of all time, Final Eclipse, and we'll be getting the chance for a preview of the new film in that series there as well. It's basically Star Wars. Wait, what's that hint? Is this Star Trek? Now I'm just confused. When the adults get in trouble for acting out like some serious fanboys may do, the babies must save the day and take down the not Darth Vader guy. As someone who will be at Too Many Games convention the day this video comes out, it's been so long since I've been able to go to any convention, and I just miss the good times with friends at them. Sorry, you don't care about any of that personal sappy stuff. It was a fun segment. Moving on.
Now back to Rugrats, only on Nickelodeon.
Episode 11's first segment, Great Minds Think Alike, with Angelica listening to story time at the park with other kids around her age. One of them being Earthbound's very own Ness. Glad to see he's getting other work besides Super Smash Bros. Angelica takes the stories read a bit too serious as she tries to use powers that she feels she can do after hearing them in the book. Susie falls into the trap and thinks that she has powers as well. And then after a few coincidences, thinking that they both actually do have powers, they decide to team up and prove these said powers to others, turning a fun rivalry into a genuine nice friendship together. That one company from before makes a cameo again. But you know, with great power comes great responsibility, so after making the ice cream truck not stop, or so they thought, they decide, hey, This is way too powerful. We need to stop this right now. They just give it up. Followed up by Betty and the Beast, where Betty is diligently waiting for an anonymous critic to come to her coffee shop in hopes they give her a good review and shout her out to bring her more attention to her business. Stu tries to help, but his inventions in doing so may be more harm than helpful, especially on such an important day. The babies think that Tommy's dad turned into the machine he was working on for Betty, so that there was this fantasy element that comes into play here. In general, it's great to see the amount of fantasy at play here, and I don't mind that it's always in the pursuit of a certain story plot rather than just a random adventure they are on. But none of that matters because the critic guy shows up and gives a great review, and hey, it's really the delivery guy again. Neat. Episode 12, starting with Escape from Preschool, where Dee Dee is trying to get Tommy signed up early for a preschool that Angelica attends. And here we get the biggest reveal. Kimmy returns. And wait. So Kimmy is now the same age as Angelica, and not Chucky's stepsister? At least she still moved here from Paris, but they brought Susie down to the baby's age and Kimmy up to Angelica's age? Are we in Wacky Town? What's going on here? The continuity is even more messed up. Kimmy even appearing before Dill is weird, and now not being the same character, but also being the same character based on her characteristics? I need to take a breath for a moment. Okay, I've given the show quite the pass on a lot, but for some reason this feels weird. Luckily, no matter what I feel about this, I always have the original show and my personal memories will never be altered based on what this reboot does. But that begs the question, is this a one-time cameo, a reoccurring role, someone who will fill that solely good counterpart to Angelica's morally ambiguous? Am I analyzing things that probably don't matter? That answer is yes. Anyway, Tommy gets accepted into the preschool, but Dee Dee thinks, hey, it's too early and we don't want him to start this young. But luckily, this preschool experience is still better than preschool days. Check out that video if you dare. The next part, Mr. Chucky, follows Chucky having a dream about growing up after worrying about growing up too fast. And wow, the delivery guy is also getting some good work as a side character. Okay, who's your favorite new character in the show? Is it Duffy or is it Delivery Guy? Tough choices. Now looking like his dad and how he's fighting to still be young and be with his friends. We get a cool look at the town that they live in through Chucky's mind, seeing familiar faces from episodes past, mainly because the only adults Chucky has ever interacted with in the real world or he's come across are here in some shape or form. And even in a dream, Angelica is still the same. Here we get a showcase into the duality that is having fun and having responsibilities when becoming an adult, and the fears that come with it. Chucky battles with this and learning that he doesn't want to grow up so fast, but in time will be ready to face these challenges when he is actually older. Wow, that may be the most pretentious YouTuber thing I've said here yet on the channel. Please don't roast me too hard. Episode 13, with the final segment of today being The Werewolf Hunter. The first holiday special of the show, and it being based on Halloween. Very timely of them. Starting with everyone on a train heading to Count Mucklehoney Manor, where the grandparents are now for some reason playing creepy monster-based tropes, and no one is the wiser to that. It's the same, it's just the grandparents in costumes. They're not different people. Angelica tricks the babies into believing that Halloween isn't just about the candy, but that the monsters are real and come out, and Angelica will hold their candy for safekeeping. And then for some reason, when getting lost in the woods now, a wolf's howl scares the babies, causing Angelica to get hurt from something. Oh man, this freaking delivery guy. Give him a round of applause. So yeah, Angelica turns into a werewolf in front of the babies after everyone gets into costume. So now the babies must help Angelica return to normal by putting a band-aid on the scratch she acquired. Legally, that's how it works. All the adults start disappearing one after the other, and then it all gets resolved in a rather predictable way, even though I think they were going for a surprise for it not to be what it seemed it was. But I digress. The babies work together and finally capture Angelica and get the band-aid on her, thus turning her back into the regular Angelica we all know. And while this seemed like one of those fantasy DVD movies the Rugrats used to do, it was just a bad dream Tommy was having. Overall, to me, this has mostly been an inoffensive reboot. Sure, there are some things that don't make sense changing, whether character-wise or continuity-wise, comparatively to the original show, but treating this as its own thing, it's very fine, is how I can describe it best. And I think what doesn't do it for me is that the original holds such a specific place in my heart from my childhood, and this just can't do that for me as an adult. I will admit, when seeing the first batch of episodes, I was excited for more Rugrats, so enjoying them was almost a given with these rose-tinted glasses I have on. So now that some time has passed and I've been able to view all 13 episodes of what this reboot has had to offer so far, it just doesn't bring me back to the place of connection connecting with it. Again, that doesn't mean I think it's bad by any means. It's something I can watch and admire. Things like the details and texture animation and some of the jokes for the adults have been pretty decent, as well as the fantasy elements are always a visual treat. But the moments that get to me and connect with me are too far and few between for me to love what they are going for with this reboot. But who knows, maybe the next set of episodes completely do work for me, and maybe these worked for you. The whole Kimmy thing still trips me out a little bit, but I guess we'll get more of that answer in due time. And I don't think the answers to giving this show some critiques as if there is something to fix for me personally apply here. Literally. I just think I may have outgrown the concept of the Rugrats. Well, no duh, I'm a grown man-child, but there is a difference in watching new Rugrats now than having grown up with the original. And also, like I mentioned at the start, having these episodes released without a proper schedule with only a handful at a time seems like a missed opportunity to maintain excitement and general interest in the series overall. It can be another 4 months until we see a few more episodes and so on, lowering my personal anticipation for the show going forward. But that's where we're at with the 2021 Rugrats reboot. Make sure to let me know your thoughts, whether you're enjoying it or not. I'm always interested in what you all have to say. I'll cover more Rugrats, new and old, in the near future, so make sure to hit like and subscribe for more content like this. I'll be back soon with another video, but until then, later.